Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon everyone. Welcome to our routine virtual national CDE session organised by Biro Kompetensi dan Latihan Pegawai Dietetik Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. This time, we from Hospital Putrajaya will be your host for today. Let us open this session with the recitation of Al-Fatihah. Al-Fatihah. Amin. Before we start our session, let me first introduce myself. I am Anis Adila binti Muhammad Patil, your moderator for today. So I have some housekeeping announcement to make. First one, for those who just joined in, you may register yourself by scanning the QR code, or you can click, give out the link later. Okay. I will share to you all the QR code. Okay, so you can scan the QR code. The link will be provided later after this. Okay. A gentle reminder, the Zoom session can only be logged in by participants who registered by state. For those who did not register, you may join us through YouTube Live. You may share the YouTube link with all of your colleagues. So I believe the head of state has distributed the new YouTube link. We are very sorry for the inconvenience of the change of the link due to some technical issues. Okay, so the third announcement is all participants are required to register in the Google form and answer the pre-test questions. Now, you may scan the QR code from your screen, or later you can obtain the link from the chat box. I will provide it later. So we have a brief overview on our CDE today. First, we will hear a presentation on continuous glucose monitoring from our speaker. After the presentation, our speaker will conduct some demonstration on various CGM available. Third, we will open a Q&A session later. So you may drop in your questions in the chat box and we will try our best to answer and to read it and let our speaker to answer to all of your inquiries. And lastly, all the participants are required to answer the post-test questions, also the borang penilaian for you to obtain an e-certificate later. All right, so have everyone scanned your QR code? If not, do not worry. We will share the link later. Okay, so while you fill in the form, I will put you on a holding slide first so that I can share the link to you. All right, okay. All right, the link has been shared in the chat box. So while you guys answering the questions, let us look back on the pengenalan karbohidrat video that I just shared just now. Sekali kita test. Test dah masuk di YouTube dia. All right, welcome back everyone. I hope you all have registered yourself and also answered the pre-test questions. Okay, so before we start with our presentation, let me introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker for today is Mr. Muhammad Isam bin Abdullah, Assistant Medical Officer in Diabetes Resource Center and Endocrine Unit Hospital Putrajaya. Mr. Isam obtained a diploma and degree in Office System and Management in Employment Law from University Technology Mara and later obtained from College Membantu Bidang Tempatan. He also had obtained a certificate in diabetes management in 2015. Mr. Isam had joined Ministry of Health Malaysia since 2012 and has been working in Hospital Putrajaya since 2014. Mr. Isam is officially appointed as diabetes educator in 2015. In 2016, he was appointed as Ministry of Health Local Preceptor for Diabetes Management Student. Mr. Ihsam had also represented Malaysia in Tronic Southeast Asia trainers in Singapore General Hospital and had received a few awards in clinical research. Without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Ihsam to deliver his presentation. Mr. Ihsam, the screen is yours.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank to organizer, which is Bureau Competency and Latihan Pegawai Dietetik PKM for having me today. Okay, as you can see, our topic presentation for today is what is in continuous glucose monitoring. Okay. Okay, for fundamental concept, this guide is for healthcare professional and will cover the continuous glucose monitoring, initiation and adjustment process for those patients using the Guardian Connect system. The second one, continuous glucose monitoring system or CGM is a technology that allows patients to monitor their glucose for 24 hours a day and provides a complete pictures of overall glucose control. Followed by, for the healthcare professional and also for patient, rely upon in time blood glucose reading to provide glucose information with no any visibility to what is happening in between. Okay, so with the CGM data, we updated approximately every 5 minutes and display on the mobile data screen and as above of a sensor glucose value and a sensor tracing. For your informations, okay, for the CGM, 288 sensor reading can be recorded each day, providing the sugar and trend arrows to show the speed direction of glucose charting. The last one is followed by the trend errors can be particularly helpful in situations such as when the patient is getting ready to drive, sleep, or perform any kind of activities where the high or low blood sugar levels could be even detrimental. The patient can enter the events such as the insulin injection, meals, exercise in the apps provided. In addition to the visual information that CGM provide, Guardian Connect app can be set to alert when glucose rises too high or too low. So based on the CGM, patient will determine whether the patient having the hyperglycemic events or hypoglycemic events. Okay, so for the benefit that finger stick and HbA1c testing along may not be exposed. Normally, patients are aware of glycemic excursions that A1C average may not show, especially nocturnal hypoglycemia. Normally, this event happen during midnight. The second one, add on glucose pattern that finger stick measurement may not be revealed. The last one, patient gain insight that can lead to better diabetes management. For indication of the continuous glucose monitoring system is CGM system for people living with type 1 or type 2 to get a better glucose control. CGM is especially beneficial for people who are not meeting their A1C goal, have frequent low blood glucose level, unaware of their low blood sugar, reduce their A1C target without increasing in hypoglycemic event or low blood sugar. The fifth, have widely variable blood sugar level. And the last one is children or adolescents who are willing to use the device every day 5. For your information, CGM consists of two types. Okay, in the current technology, we have a blinded, which is the previous one, or the other name of the CGM, we call it as a iPro 2. Okay, the latest one or the updated technology that we currently use in our MOH facilities, especially in the Putrajaya hospital, we're using the Guardian Connect, or the other name is real time. Okay, so let's take a look the video for the blinded CGM or iPro 2.
iPro 2 professional continuous glucose monitoring system, inserting the Enlight sensor and connecting the recorder. First, gather your supplies: an alcohol wipe, gloves, an Enlight inserter, an Enlight sensor, over tape, and an iPro 2 recorder. Make sure to record the recorder serial number on an equipment log sheet. Wash your hands and put on gloves. Choose a side that has adequate or stretch marks. Clean the skin with alcohol and let it dry. Open the sensor package. Remove the sensor by holding the plastic pedestal. Place the sensor on a hard, flat surface like a table. Make sure the adhesive tab is tucked under the sensor connector. Line up the inserter so it fits over the sensor properly. Carefully push the inserter straight. Hold the pedestal arms with 2 fingers. With your other hand, pull the inserter straight up. Do not detach the pedestal in mid-air or you might damage the sensor. The sensor remains inside the inserter. The arrow on the side of the inserter shows where the sensor is located. Place the inserter flat against the skin and don't push the inserter into the skin. Press and release the bump on the green button. When you release the green button is when the sensor inserts. Hold the inserter against the skin to allow the adhesive time to stick. Now press and continue to hold in the green button while you slowly pull the inserter away. With one hand, gently hold the sensor in place. Put one finger over the black O-rings and another on the opposite side. Be careful not to pinch the sides of the sensor, otherwise you may have trouble pulling out the needle. With your other hand, pull the needle straight out. You'll notice the needle automatically retracts. Discard it into a sharps container. If bleeding occurs, apply pressure with sterile gauze for 3 minutes or until bleeding stops. If bleeding doesn't stop in 3 minutes, do not connect the recorder. Insert a new sensor elsewhere. Remove the paper backing from under the adhesive pad and press the adhesive against the skin. Now flip the tab so that it lies flat against the skin, but do not remove the paper backing just yet. Next, you will need to apply the overtape. First, remove the paper backing marked with the number 1. Hold the overtape by the sides and apply one side of the overtape so it covers both the sensor and the skin. Then stretch the other part of the overtape around the sensor connector. Smooth down the overtape, then remove the 2 paper tabs marked with the number 2. Press the overtape against the skin. Hold the sensor with one hand and push the iPro 2 recorder onto the sensor until it snaps into place. Within 20 seconds, you should see the green light on the recorder flash. Remove the paper backing from the tab and fold the tab onto the recorder. Apply a second piece of overtape that covers the back end of the recorder and the skin. Then smooth down the overtape. You are now done with inserting the sensor and connecting the recorder. iPro 2 Professional Continuous Glucose Monitoring System. Inserting the Enlight sensor and
All right, so before we do the procedure for iPro 2 or blinded CGM, okay, for endocrinologists or from our department, this patient must be referred to the dietitians, okay, so that they are well known or more like educate about the carbo intake, food exchange, and so on. So normally for those patients, okay, must fill up the log sheet given to the patients, and then they must be written after they finish the program. Okay, you can see here the day for the first day. During the first hours, patient must be immediately monitor their BG or blood glucose, followed by the pre-lunch, the third hours, pre-dinner, and also for bedtime. This is only for the first day. The second day and onwards, until they finish the program, patient must be monitored the sugar at least 4 times a day, which is for breakfast, pre-lunch, pre-dinner, and also bedtime. Okay, you can see here the other column, patient must be written the meal, intake, carbs, oral medications, and time, insulin, and the dosage of the insulin, okay, whether they are on the best bolus insulin, and also the time of the injections. Patient also must required to jot down the activity such as swimming, running, or any physical activity, the durations of the previous activity, and the last one, any kind of episode of hypoglycemia or having event of menses or also driving. Okay, this is the summary of the report for the blinded or iPro CGM. You can see here for the 6 days of the program, we can already have the estimated A1C level for those patients. For example, here the patient get the A1C level around 6.8%. So the estimated A1C level only calculated for the program, which is only for 1 week. Okay, on your right side, okay, you can see the time in range. Okay, you can see here the 58% above the target, 35% sugar in target, and also the last one, 7% sugar below the targets. Okay, the variable of the iPro or the blinded CGM consists of 3 columns. The first one is the time is a difference accordingly. The first column stated at starting from 11 p.m. until 6 morning. Okay, the second column followed by the 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. And then the last column, the duration started at 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. All right. So you can see here the colorful line in the graph here represent the daily sugar trend of that particular sugar. Okay, let's take a look at the real-time CGM. Okay, this video we can see or we can watch the how to set up the real CGM.
In this video, we will show you how to set up the Guardian Connect app. Begin by downloading the Guardian Connect app to your mobile device.
Okay, so basically, for the real-time CGM, it's more like a technical issue because patient and also healthcare providers must familiar with the apps like from the Medtronic. Okay, let's continue the video.
And tapping the icon to open it. After the welcome screen, you will see an end user license agreement. Read through the agreement and select Agree to proceed. You will get another prompt asking if you agree with the user terms and conditions. Tap Agree to continue. On the next screen, you will see a list of things that you will need to do before you can get started. Select Get Started to move to the next screen. Next, you will see a reminder that the app automatically sends your information to CareLink. Select Next. Now you will see information on Care Partners. You will learn more about Care Partners in another video. Tap Next. On the next screen, you will need to log into your CareLink account. If you do not have an account, tap on Don't have a CareLink account yet and follow the instructions on screen. You may want to write down your CareLink login information so that you can access your account on your home computer. After logging into your CareLink account, the app will ask you to pair your transmitter. Place the transmitter on the charger and tap Next. The next screen will tell you to remove the transmitter from the charger to begin pairing. The green light on the transmitter should begin to flash. Next, tap Search. Your app will ask you to confirm the serial number of your transmitter. Confirm that the serial number on the screen is the same as the one located on the back of your transmitter. Tap the serial number on the app screen and select Pair. You will receive a pop-up message for a Bluetooth pairing request. Tap Pair to continue. You will see a confirmation screen once the device has been paired. Select OK to continue. After your transmitter finishes successfully pairing, your app will ask you to select which carb unit to display. Select your desired unit and press Next. Carefully read the next screen for information on the limitations of sensor glucose values and press OK. Select Agree to continue. On the next screen, you will have the option to start a new sensor, or you can skip this section and insert the sensor later. If you choose to insert the sensor now, select Yes and refer to the instructions on the insertion video. For now, select Skip to continue programming the Guardian Connect system settings. Next, you will be reminded that the Guardian Connect app will send alerts to your mobile device. Tap Next to continue and select Allow to turn on Guardian Connect notifications. Keep in mind, your app must be open or running in the background to receive notifications or alerts. The next screen reminds that Guardian Connect will always play a tone, even if your phone is set to silent. This is to ensure you will always receive your sensor glucose alerts. Select Next to continue. The next screen reminds you that you will always receive an alert, sensor alerts. Your healthcare professional will work with you to decide what your initial settings will be and will help you adjust them as you continue to use the Guardian Connect system. If you do not have this information from your healthcare provider, select Skip. Otherwise, select Set up Alerts. The Alerts settings screen is where you will set up all of your alerts and notifications. More information on how to set up these alerts can be found in your user guide and online on the Medtronic support page.
Then we see another video for the real-time CGM.
In this video, we will go over how to insert the Guardian Sensor 3. Please be sure to watch the video all the way through before attempting to insert the sensor yourself. When you are ready, gather the following supplies: a Guardian Sensor 3, the one-press inserter, 2 pieces of oval tape, your fully charged transmitter, an alcohol wipe, a skin tack wipe, if needed, any other optional off-the-shelf adhesive you plan to use, and a sharps container. If you require assistance to insert, you will also need to provide gloves and sterile gauze for the person assisting. Be sure to review the user guide for more information on assisted insertion. Wash your hands before you begin. Next, you'll need to choose a site to insert the sensor. The shaded areas on the abdomen and the back of the upper arms are recommended for insertion. When choosing your site, be sure it is at least 2 inches away from your belly button. For best glucose sensor performance, be sure to avoid sites where your clothing may rub or constrict. For example, your belt line. You should also avoid sites where your body naturally bends, or where there is a great deal of motion, and sites that are scarred or have hardened tissue or stretch marks. Be sure to rotate your sensor sites in order to avoid tissue damage that could occur from overuse. Clean the insertion site with alcohol and let the skin dry before inserting the sensor. Do not use any other product or tape on the site before inserting the sensor. Let's take a closer look at the Guardian Sensor 3. The sensor is attached to the top of the plastic pedestal that keeps the sensor in place while loading the inserter. The plastic pedestal has 2 arms on either side. On the top of the sensor is the needle housing, which holds the needle in place. The needle is removed after insertion. Now let's take a look at the inserter. The inserter has a thumbprint marking on one side, where you will hold the inserter while loading the sensor. On either side of the inserter are 2 large green buttons. To insert the sensor into your body, you will place your thumb and forefinger on the small bumps on these buttons and press once. Don't do this yet. Open the Guardian Sensor 3 package. Remove the sensor by holding the plastic pedestal. Do not hold it by the sensor or needle housing, as this could damage the sensor. Place the sensor with its pedestal on a clean, flat surface, such as a table. Make sure the sensor's adhesive tab is tucked under the sensor connector and snaps. Hold the inserter so your thumb is on the thumbprint. Be sure your fingers are not touching the green buttons on either side of the inserter. Carefully, push the inserter down onto the sensor and pedestal until the base of the inserter sits flat on the table and you hear a click. Do not push the inserter too hard onto the sensor, as this might cause the sensor to load improperly. To detach the inserter from the pedestal, be sure your thumb is still placed on the thumbprint and you are not touching the buttons. Place 2 fingers on the pedestal arms, holding it in place, and slowly pull the inserter straight up. Do not detach the pedestal in midair. Doing so might damage the sensor. After the pedestal is detached, the sensor remains inside the inserter. This step also removes the adhesive liner from the sensor. The side arrow on the inserter will indicate where the needle is located. Place the base of the inserter flat against the site that you prepared. To insert the sensor, be sure you are holding the inserter securely against your skin without pushing it in too deeply. Press and release the small bump on both green buttons at the same time to automatically insert the sensor. It is important you hold the inserter securely against your body while you do this step, as the inserter may spring back after pressing the buttons, resulting in improper insertion of the sensor. Do not pull the inserter away from your skin yet. Continue to hold the inserter against your skin to allow time for the adhesive to stick. Then, slowly pull the inserter away from your skin, making sure you do not press the buttons while doing so. Now you'll need to remove the insertion needle. If someone else is performing this step for you, please refer to the user guide for instructions. With one hand, gently hold the sensor by placing one finger on the front of the sensor and one finger on the sensor connector to ensure your glucose sensor stays in place. Be sure you do not hold or pinch the sides of the sensor. With the other hand, hold the needle housing at the tip and slowly pull straight out, away from the sensor. The needle automatically retracts inside the plastic needle housing. Discard the entire piece into a sharps container. If bleeding occurs at your insertion site, apply steady pressure using sterile gauze or a clean cloth for up to 3 minutes. Please consult the user guide for what to do if bleeding does not stop. Now that your sensor is inserted, you may use an optional liquid adhesive such as skin tack to help keep it in place. To apply the adhesive, open the packet and remove the skin tack wipe. With one hand, gently lift the adhesive pad while keeping your fingers on the sensor base to prevent it from pulling out. With the other hand, wipe the skin beneath the adhesive pad. Next, wipe the area around the sensor, including the adhesive pad, and wait for the liquid to become dry and sticky. Carefully remove the liner that is located underneath the curved adhesive pad. Press the adhesive pad against the skin. Now flip the adhesive tab so it lies flat against the skin, but do not remove the adhesive liner from the tab just yet. Next, you need to apply the oval tape. It is important to properly secure the sensor against your skin. The first step is to remove the paper backing marked with the number 1. Do not remove the 2 smaller tabs on the sides of the tape just yet. Hold the oval tape by the covered ends. Then, apply the wide part of the tape so it covers both the round side of the sensor and the skin securely. Make sure the tape is covering both the skin and the sensor. Then apply the remaining part of the tape onto the adhesive pad without blocking the sensor connector. Smooth down the tape that was placed on the skin. Then, remove the paper tabs marked with the number 2 from the sides of the tape. Smooth the tape against the skin. To connect the transmitter to your sensor, remove your transmitter from the charger and watch for the green light to flash. With one hand, hold the sensor in place. Hold the transmitter with your other hand and push it onto the sensor. It will click when it is connected. The green light on the transmitter will start flashing within 20 seconds. It will flash for a few seconds and then turn off. If necessary, use a mirror to see the green light. If the light on the transmitter does not flash, disconnect the transmitter from the sensor and place it back on the charger until it is fully charged. Reconnect the transmitter to the sensor. Remove the adhesive liner from the adhesive tab. Fold the adhesive tab over and stick it on the transmitter. Be careful not to pull the adhesive tab too tightly. Now you need to apply a second piece of oval tape to the transmitter. Remove the paper backing marked with the number 1. Rotate the tape and place it over the transmitter. The wide part of the tape should cover both your skin and the back of the transmitter. Smooth down the tape and remove the paper tabs marked with the number 2 from the sides of the tape. Smooth the sides of the tape. Return to your Guardian Connect app on your mobile device to complete the sensor startup. Select New Sensor and tap OK. The home screen will now display Warm Up at the top. As you wear your sensor, be sure to regularly check your site. If additional tape is needed to secure the sensor and transmitter, you can apply off-the-shelf tape. At the end of 7 days, you will need to remove your old sensor. First, remove any optional adhesive you may have applied over the transmitter and sensor. Next, remove the oval tape that is covering the transmitter. Peel the adhesive tab off the transmitter. Disconnect the transmitter by pinching the flexible arms of the sensor with one hand and pulling the transmitter away with the other. Now peel off the oval tape that is covering the sensor. Loosen the sensor adhesive by lifting up the adhesive tab. Remove the sensor from your body. Discard the sensor in a sharps container. Be sure to follow the instructions in the user guide on how to properly clean the transmitter. Then place the transmitter back in the charger so it can be recharged.
All right, so after we install the Guardian Connect to the patients, okay, so that the healthcare providers can be a guardian for these patients. So let's take a look the how the healthcare providers can be a guardians in order to monitor the sugar for these particular patients.
Adhesive you plan to use, and
So this is a setting up a care partner video.
Sarah has just been made captain of her high school girls soccer team. Sarah's parents are very proud of her. However, they are worried about her away games since Sarah has type 1 diabetes and oftentimes goes low hours after her games.
So you can see in the video show here, the Sarah is the patient and then the guardian is her parents. Okay, beside the parents, the healthcare providers also can easily monitor the sugar using the apps.
Sarah's parents talked to her doctor, and he prescribed a Guardian Connect continuous glucose monitoring system for Sarah to wear. Using the Guardian Connect system, Sarah's parents can remotely monitor her glucose levels by using the Care Partner feature enabled by her CareLink personal account. A care partner can view sensor information through CareLink software and also receive text alerts on their phone. Up to 5 care partners can be added to the Guardian Connect app. After registering for a CareLink personal account and completing setup on the Guardian Connect app, Sarah and her mom can now set up a care partner account. Sarah opens the menu and taps on Sync to CareLink. She taps Manage Care Partners and signs into her CareLink account. On the next screen, Sarah sees she'll need to come up with a nickname to display on the text messages her mom may receive. She gives herself a nickname and taps on Add Care Partner. Sarah puts in her mom's first and last name and creates a username and temporary password. She also reminds her that the temporary password created is only valid for 24 hours. She taps Save to finish. Sarah's mom can now finish her registration process. Using her own cell phone, Sarah's mom goes to the CareLink webpage and logs in using the username and password Sarah created for her. She accepts the terms of use and enters in a new password. The last step is for Sarah's mom to complete the My Info section, adding in a security question and answer. She taps Save and looks at her options for receiving text alerts on her phone. Sarah's mom goes to her notification settings, confirms her phone number, and sets up the alerts she would like to receive. Since Sarah's mom is concerned about Sarah going low, she chooses to be texted right away by selecting 0 minutes for a low sensor glucose and low predicted glucose alert. She saves her settings. A week later, Sarah is at an away game with her team. It was a tough game, but in the end, Sarah's team won, and their coach decides to take the team out to dinner to celebrate. While waiting for her food, Sarah gets a low predicted alert on her phone. As she is clearing the alert, she also receives a text message from her mom. Got a message about a predictive low? Are you good? Sarah texts her mom back, letting her know she is okay, and she checks her BG. Sarah's mom is relieved she doesn't have to worry about her daughter going low while away. And Sarah feels like she has more insight into her diabetes thanks to her Guardian Connect system.
All right, so you can see the difference between the blinded CGM and also the real-time CGM, whereby the real-time CGM more like, you know, very close monitoring to the patient and also for the guardians, whereby the blinded CGM only for the patient and also for the healthcare providers. Normally for the blinded CGM patient must be written after they finish the program, and then the healthcare providers must be like download the report, and then afterwards we can see the report afterwards. Okay, totally different with the real-time CGM or Guardian Connect, because it's like for the guardians and also for the patients, we can easily monitor the sugar anytime for 24 hours during the program. All right, so this is one sheet of the report of the Guardian Connect report. Okay, this is only the simple one. Normally, patient also we can see the BG reading for that patients. Okay, you can see here for the until the first day. Sorry. Okay, the first day, second day, from Thursday until the Thursday. Okay. The next column is referred to the BG readings referred to the how frequent that particular patients monitor the sugar daily, and also the sensor durations. We see how long the durations intact to that patients, and also if the patient especially like on beta bolus or insulin or pump. Okay, we can review here the bolus wizard events. Okay, followed by the food correction, how much the correction have been done. All right, and then the rewind, how many rewind done towards the insulin pump, and then also the manual prime volume, how many units, and then the how long the durations the insulin pump have been suspended. All right. That's it. Any questions you may ask me? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tisam, for the informative presentation. We can see the various types of CGM available and also can familiarize if it is used by our patient. Okay, so before, hold on, yeah. Okay. So before we continue to the demonstration, okay, while they are setting, let me share some experience from Hospital Putrajaya, whereby there are some studies conducted from our own experience in 2020. There is a study during Ramadan to see the glucose of the type 1 diabetic patient in the pediatric by the endocrine peds, whereby they want to see if the children are fasting. So what will happen to their glucose level throughout the day? And another study whereby I was invited as well. We are helping the endocrine adult to see the glucose level of type 2 diabetes pregnant mothers if they are exercising pre and also post meal. So during the study, the patient basically will be referred to dietitians, and we will explain to them, give them MNT on diabetics, and also educate the patients regarding basic carbohydrate counting, so that the patient can write their dietary recall much more appropriate and easier to be analyzed. So the patient will be the endocrine specialist. They will give the patient the CGM, and after 1 week, the patient came back with their food diary, and they also need to do 4 times glucose monitoring via finger pricking, so that the level of the sugar can be analyzed from the CGM. So during that time, we will sit together, the endocrine specialists, dietitians, and also patient, and we will see what happened to their glucose results. Okay, if we see any low blood glucose or high blood glucose, which cannot be shown in the typical BSP, the 4 times BSP, okay, we cannot detect the patient have hyper or hypos during midnight or early morning, or even during the day, okay, before dinner, we cannot trace that. Sometimes the BSP level, it shows very good control. However, when we analyze the CGM report, we can see the blood glucose is actually quite, it has hyperglycemia and suddenly it has hypoglycemia. So from that, we will help the patient to see and what they take or their food intake. Basically, we will see and we will convert. If the patient put in household measurement, we will educate them using household measurement. If they have weighing the food, they have weighing scale, they can measure their food weight. Okay, after that, we will analyze to see how much carbohydrate intake, and we will compare with their glucose level. So if let's say their glucose level, usually patient, they also will be aware if they are taking low fiber intake, even with quite good control of carbohydrate. If the fiber intake is very low, we can see sometimes the sugar level can be out of the normal range. So we can see a much more correct, I may say, okay, for the glucose monitoring of the patient. So, all right, so what about the demonstration? We are still waiting. All right, so they are ready. Okay, so let me, okay, so we can start with the demonstration now. Shall we, Mr. Isam?
All right. Okay. So before we go for the demonstrations, I have a questions from the participants here. They asked me about the price of the sensors. Normally in the market, especially in the Southeast Asia, we only have one vendor provided, okay, only available in the market, which is a Medtronic. So the current price for the guided sensors around 250 ringgit per sensor, whereby the blended sensor or iPro, it costs much expensive. Okay, the previously it costs about 300 ringgit. And then for your informations, I just get the information from the vendor because they already discontinue the manufacturing for the iBlended. So we just proceed with the guidance sensors. So each time we only ordered partially, which is contain one box each. Okay, it depends on the request or the demand from the patients and also from the endocrinologist. All right. So hopefully I'm answered that questions. So before we move to the demonstrations. All right. Okay. Okay, so we proceed with the demonstrations. You can see here there is the Enlight sensors is referred to the blended CGM. Each box contain 5 pieces of the sensors. Okay, and then the sensors also have expiry dates. Okay, so to avoid any the wastage of the consumable, okay, we have like before this vendor provide the exchange program, which means that if the sensors already expired, so that we can exchange the particular sensors to a new one. All right, so you can see here in the real life. Okay, these are from Medtronic and light sensors. Okay, these are the expiry date, which is for example here 12th of February 2019. Okay, this is unboxing yet. All right. So currently we stand by these sensors only for the demonstration and also for the teaching purposes. All right. Now we're moving to the guardian sensors. All right. So in the boxes stated here the guidance sensors, and also at the side here there's also stated the guidance sensors. Okay, it's also the same one. Okay, the company also only from the Medtronic itself. And basically also the same. The sensors also have the expiry date. Okay, these are the latest expired sensors, which is the sensor expired was on 15th of April 2021. All right. So normally the vendor are not provide any exchange program, so that this one is already wasted. So we already wasted about 250 ringgit per piece. All right. Now we continue to the charging port. This one is a charging port for the CGM, blinded CGM. All right, you can see here is determine the eye. This one is the shell of the reader. This one the charging port, and also they're also using the conventional charging. All right. So normally we have to charge about 2 hours, okay, to finish or to make the battery full battery for to be last for 1 week. All right. Okay. This also after we remove these sensors, okay, the adapter or the wires of this reader can be used for the download purposes. Right. This one is the shutter for the eye blender. All right. Compare the a new one. All right. This one latest inserter for Guardian Connect. All right. This one is more bigger compared the previous editions. This one is the old version. All right. All right. So let's take a look at the charging port for the Guardian Connect. This one is using battery, the small battery. Okay, the AAA battery. Compare the previous one or the blended. Okay, we still can be use a charging port, but this one we only use the battery, the AAA battery. So normally to fully charge the battery, it takes about 1 hour only. So it's a shortage of time compared the previous editions. Okay. You can see the reader, okay, stated here the GC. GC is referred to the Guardian Connect. Compare the old one is I. Okay. I refer to the iPro 2. All right. That's it from my demonstration program. You can see the blinking, the green light blinking here, which is means that we are charging the reader. All right. Okay. Any questions?
All right. Thank you again, Mr. Isam. Hope everyone have much clear view on the CGM. So now let's start with the Q&A session, shall we? All right. So let's see. The first question. This one is from YouTube. Okay. We start now, Mr. Isam. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. We can proceed the question.
All right. Okay. So first question from Amar Firas. So how long will this CGM will be used by the patients, the blinded type of CGM?
Okay.
How long?
For the blinded, the minimum duration is for 3 days. The maximum is up to 1 week, which is like the battery for the sensor or for the reader can be last for 7 days.
Okay. So how long will the memory last and also the report?
Sorry?
Okay, how long will the memory in the CGM last? And also the report, how long? How long can it be saved? All the data.
Okay, normally after we finish the program, the sensor can be last up to 3 days only. So afterwards, as I told you earlier, the reader of the sensors, which is the battery itself, can be last only for 3 days. And then afterward, that particular report of that patient is gone. So actually, after we remove the sensors of that from that patients, we must be immediately download the report to avoid any any other issue like missing data and so on and so forth. Okay, any question? Any more questions?
Okay. The other question is, what is the main difference between the blinded and real-time CGM? So how do doctors decide which one to use?
Okay, because the blended, like I told in my previous slide, the blended is like outdated technology from the Medtronic itself compared to the real-time CGM. CGM is the latest one technology from the Medtronic itself. So normally, for myself, okay, because the Guardian Connect is more to technical issues, so we must be familiar with the uh, technical and then so on and so forth. Because sometimes we having the problem with the system, the Medtronic itself, because we sometimes we having the problem we are not able to log in our username, our ID. That is the main problem. It's more to technical problem, but normally because we have no choice actually, because the blinded CGM already discontinued, so we just continue the Guardian Connect CGM nowadays. Yeah.
All right, Ms. Tisham, thank you. We have one question, but the question is for dietitian. So I just hit the question and I will answer for the other dietitian's behalf. All right. Okay. As a dietitian, do you find the CGM gadget will enhance the delivery of MNT and how? So,
All right. So normally for the MMT, we actually, before we decided, okay, to proceed with the procedure, CGM procedure, we have like monitor the mental status, the education status of that particular patients. So normally, if a patient like elderly or very like slow learner, we are not this is the last choice for this patient lah. Because the cup coating and like this is a big issue actually from the patients, because the patient must be written the carbon intake, the cups exchange, the cups intake, and so on. Okay, so normally the MMT is very significant value to that particular report as well. Yeah.
okay. I think this is one last question. Okay. Is the device suitable for obese patient?
Yeah, no problem. Should be fine. Normally for obese patient also suitable, for skinny patient also suitable. So normally we don't have any other issue with the sizing of the patients, because we also started the program. The youngest age of that patient is around 4 months. Yeah. So physically for patient there is no issue.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Isham. we will require all the participants to answer the post-test questions as well as borang penilaian. Okay, so I will share the QR code for the post-test as well as borang penilaian. So all participants are required to answer the pre-test, post-test, and do not forget to register yourself to obtain your e-certificate. So if you do not do so, please do now. If not, you are not enabled to get the e-certificate. Okay, so I will share now. Okay, as you can see from the screen, that is the post-test and also the QR code for borang penilaian. You can also get the link from the chat box in Zoom as well as YouTube Live. Okay. All right, has everyone scanned their QR code? Okay, so while you fill in the form, let's look at a short video from us. All right. So has everyone answered their questions? Okay, let me reopen that, the QR code, in case anybody miss it. Okay. So a very big thank you to our speaker, Mr. Isam, for his wonderful presentation today. We really appreciate knowledge sharing in the field of glucose monitoring. Thank you everyone for joining us today, this evening. Hope all of you stay healthy and stay safe. So let's end our session with Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-As. All right. Thank you, everyone. And Assalamualaikum. Ada orang